Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a review of the Musashi Void mousepad. All my thoughts and opinions around this mousepad, and if I think it's even worth picking up over everything else. Before we get the video started, I just want to say that Musashi did send this mousepad out. I'm very thankful for it, but that does not in any way affect my opinion. As you guys know, I try to be as unbiased as possible. So let's get started. So first I want to talk about the mousepad sizing. It is 530 by 440. It's a much larger size mousepad than a standard 490 by 420. And I personally enjoy it a lot more as I play a lower sensitivity in Valorant. So I'll be swaying my arm a lot more than the average person. It is a little bit on the thinner side though. This is a 3mm surface. It's very thin and it almost feels like you can press through the mouse pad. It is using a high density rubber foam, similar to the GSR2, similar to the Perseus, similar to everything of that nature. It's using the same exact foam. And it's, if you do the one finger test, it doesn't move. And I think that's the sizing helping it a lot. I feel like if it was a little bit smaller, you would get some of that movement. But it does a pretty good job at staying secure on the desk. And I don't have any issues with it, like moving around while I'm playing, even at my low sensitivity. Next, I want to talk about the surface itself. This is a control surface. This is what I would consider a GSR SE or a Vaxi PA-esque pad. It's very slow, has a lot of control. It's something that I find personally usable in a lot of video games and a lot of situations. I feel like this is what a lot of people would prefer, especially with the art style. I think this is the Vagabond character. I don't really read manga, so I don't know who this is. But I've been told this is from the Vagabond anime or character or manga. But I feel like the control you're getting for this kind of makes up a lot. It's really solid. I don't have any issues with it. I am right now using the Cyclone Dots from Ghost Glides. These are meant for glass. If I use more standard PTFE skates like the X-Ray Pad Jades here, I have no issue. They do feel significantly quicker, but they also feel much more controllable than something like an O2 or something like a Hien or something like the Arrow, where the Jade on top of those faster surfaces is just really fast. It's still usable, but I much prefer this combo here, the control pad with faster skates, over slow skates on a fast pad. Next, I just want to talk about quickly skates on the mouse pad. I know I just went over a little bit, but if you are going to use this mouse pad, I would suggest getting pad skates. Like here on my Superlight 2, I have the Superglide V2 pad skates. Because the mouse pad is so thin, it is absolutely awful, a miserable experience with dot skates as it presses right into the surface and feels like you're playing on your desk with a little bit of mud. So pad skates are the way that I would go with most mouse skates, especially like these thinner ones here. This is what I really like to use here are these G Pro skates. Next I'll talk about the stitching. The stitching of this mouse pad is really good. It is low profile anti-leak stitch, similar to something like you would see it on most of these newer Poron-based mouse pads like the Memoria Pro, Kyosan Ninja, Raven Mori, and everything of that vein. I would compare it to Artisans. It's similar in quality, but I don't know how the upkeep will be. I have been using this mouse pad for about 2.5 weeks now, and I just don't know how these will be after a long period of time. My Artisans have stood the test of time several times, and I've had absolutely no issues with those. Same thing with the Lethal Gaming Gear. There's a bit of fraying, but nothing more than normal wear and tear that I would expect from a mouse pad. But I do see this being very high quality stitching and nothing that I could really see being a downside of this mouse pad. Next, I want to go on to the comparison section of this video. I'll be comparing this mouse pad to a bunch of my other favorite options. So let's get started. So first I want to start here with the Saturn Pro. The main difference in the mouse pad is that this one has a Poron base while the Void has a high density rubber foam. But when we're talking about glide and consistency, if you're looking at getting the Musashi over your Saturn Pro, if you currently have a Saturn Pro, you're looking to get something better, this wouldn't be a better pickup, but it would be similar in speed. They are around the same price, and the control you're getting is very similar. I would actually compare them very well to each other. It feels just like the exact same pad, but a little bit thinner and a little bit softer of a surface feel. The surface feel is kind of like a light, fuzzy feeling, and it's kind of compared to the Saturn Pro, which is completely smooth over the entire thing. It's just really controlled. Next, I just want to go into some faster options. This right here is the Memoria Pro and the Artisan Zero in Dye Orange. These mouse pads are faster than the standard control pad, but they're very similar to each other, which is why I pulled them both out at the same time. If you're looking at getting the Void over the Memoria Pro, the only upside that you're getting between the Memoria Pro and the Void is the Poron base that the Memoria Pro comes in. But as we all know, don't buy a mouse pad just because it has Poron. That doesn't make or break a mouse pad. They are, again, similar in price. This one is in a bigger size. This one is more liked in the community as it's been around a little bit longer. This speed of the Memoria Pro is a lot quicker in the dynamics than the Void, where there's a little bit more of a tugging sensation coming on the X and Y than on the Memoria Pro, where you're not really getting that tugging sensation, but you are still getting a lot of control. If we're comparing it to the Zero here, the Zero is one of the faster of control pads. It's still really slow, but relatively quicker on the spectrum of control pads. I wouldn't really compare this to a Zero. I wouldn't say it's even on the same quality as a Zero. As you see, Artisan stitching is magnificent, and then they're like the infamous leaders of some of the best bases on the market. But if we're comparing it to the Memoria Pro, it's relatively slower and definitely a lot smoother to the skin, the Memoria Pro having a very light texture. And lastly, we're just going to pull out these two mouse pads here. These I'm only pulling out for the surface feel. They're both very smooth, just like the Musashi. But if you're going from the Kiro-san or the Arrow to the Musashi, you're definitely going to notice how slow it is. These mouse pads, both on the quicker end, and I wouldn't even compare them in speed at all because they're not the same. But when it comes to surface feel, they're all smooth. So if you like that smooth texture, it's definitely a good pickup to get this if you're looking for a control pad that is smooth. All right, so that should be about it. Do I recommend this mouse pad? There's only one thing I didn't mention, and that is the price of this mouse pad. This is a $55 mouse pad, and I feel like for that price, you're putting it up there with some of the best pads on the market, which is why I brought out the Zero, which is why I brought out the Saturn Pro, the Memoria Pro. I'm bringing out these very high-quality mouse pads to compare it to, because at that price point, you're fighting at such a price where you need to have something that stands out above the rest. I feel like the only thing putting the Void over the Zero, over the Saturn Pro, over the Memoria Pro, over the Ninja is its sizing and unique artwork. They can only use this artwork because of the fact that they have the high-density rubber foam. And I did hear them say that they're releasing a new pad with a pour-on surface. Do not quote me on this, but that's what they said they were going to do. It's definitely a solid pickup if you really like the art, if you want a nice control pad with a really decent sizing. But it just all comes down to the price being up there with some of the best. You're either going for Artisan, Lethal Gaming Gear, and all these other amazing mouse pads. And I feel like the only thing that separates this from the rest is the sizing and the art. Yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more. Again, I have so many videos that come out soon. I do have the review of the WLMouse Beast X. We also have the Mouser Sphinx coming. We have so many things to do. So I'm going to try and get all these out as fast as I possibly can. Hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
I'll be hanging from a street light, singing out my favorite song, singing out my